Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on credit card processing with BASYS, one of our corporate partners. My name is Amanda Goyette. I'm an admin assistant with AERA, and I will be in the background moderating today's event with my colleague, Rob Monroe.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, Rob Monroe here. I look after membership and technical development at AERA. You've got a chance to win a giveaway engine. So it's $20 for 5 tickets. We'll be giving this engine away at the PCI show here in December. This engine's a 582 cubic inch. It's nitrous powered. This thing's a beast, and it was built by Baldwin Racing Engines. And like I say, the lucky winner will be Saturday at the PCI show. We're going to give that away. If you want to win tickets, or sorry, not win tickets, but if you want to purchase tickets, go over to our website. You'll see where we got the EREF engine right on the home page of our website. You'll be able to purchase tickets there. Or you can give us a call. You can give Karen a call. 888-326-2372 is Karen, and you'll be able to purchase tickets that way as well. Epic Conference. If any of you are going to the PRI show here in December, make sure to come in a day early. This Epic Conference is going to have 4 high-level presentations. It's on December 11th. It comes with breakfast. It comes with lunch. And any of you that are AERA members, your $100 that you pay for Epic and this is anybody in the shop, you'll be reimbursed that. So that's for members, so that's a great benefit. Make sure to get signed up. Epic is sponsored by Motor State Distributing, and simply just go over to our website. All the information is there when you go to www.aera.org, and you'll be able to sign up for Epic and get registered for that one. All right, well, enough chit-chat out of me. We're going to bring on Chris Miller from BASYS, and all of our folks here at AERA that use the BASYS program have nothing but high regard to say about the money that they've saved. It is a great program. Chris and the folks over at BASYS work really well with us and our members. You know, it's no cost to you to just send them a statement, get them to look things over just to see how you look. So what I'll do for now is I'll put things over to Chris, and any questions that you've got, just like I say, put those in the questions box and we'll ask Chris those at the end. So Chris, how are things going today?
Things are going great, Rob. Thanks for the introduction. Definitely love working with the Engine Rebuilders Association. And for me, I've been to some of these shows, so hearing you talk about the shows coming up makes me want to attend. I've been to Blueprint and P1 here this past year, but I don't think that would fly very well with my wife. She's due in November, so less traveling for me for the rest of the year, but excited to dive into things today and talk a little bit about BASYS and how we've worked with other members in the past. My goal today is to avoid any type of jargon and complicated thoughts and ideas, and just talk basics, keep things very high level. So I'll dive in here today. So my agenda for today is talking about what the process would look like if you were to switch. Also, we'll cover pricing, how we handle compliance at BASYS, briefly touch on a few different processing solutions, and then wrap things up with a bow with just a little bit about us. We are different than a lot of the other processors and really companies in America today, and we'll go over some of that at the end. So when I am talking to other members of the AERA and other folks that I work with, one of the biggest things that comes up is, what's the process look like to make a switch? I think that in a lot of instances, there's preconceived notions that it is a task, that it is something that, you know, maybe if it's you and 2 other folks in the shop and you don't have anyone working admin, how am I going to make this happen and not pull my hair out? Well, the reality is although that does that thought track does make sense, it couldn't be anything further from the truth with BASYS. So for us, from getting someone to the point of taking a look at their statements to getting them up and running is a less than a 2-week process. So for us to be able to put together pricing, if you are currently accepting credit cards, all we need is a copy of a recent processing statement. We can accept this via fax, email, send it over in a text. We try to make it as easy as possible. So from here, we'll go over the pricing. We'll show you what we can provide when it comes to cost savings. Typically, we're taking about 20% off the top. And a lot of times when it comes to the savings, we get this business mindset where we always want to bring in new dollars in the front door. But what I've found is it's been very advantageous to other members to slow down and think about what's leaving through the back door, right? The different costs associated with doing business. So in this example, we've got about 5 minutes of time invested to pull a statement from your email or shoot an email over to your current processor. We get a statement. From there, we go over the numbers, answer any questions you may have. Time to approval. Standard time is between 3 and 5 business days from the point of saying, yes, these numbers look great. We're excited about working with BASYS. During this 3 to 5 day period, you do nothing. We take care of all of the approval, working with the underwriters and the coding to make sure your machines are ready to rock and roll. From there, we schedule training and implementation. We haven't had anyone that has needed multiple trainings, although we can provide those as of late, because it is very simple. Our terminals are plug and play. There's no downloads or difficult equipment that you have to install. You don't have to be a tech wizard to plug things in and make them run. So 0 downtime, total time invested. What we typically see is about 30 minutes from a business owner. 5 to 10 minutes to grab a statement. It's about a 5 to 10 minute call to go over the savings and talk about BASYS, and then 15, 20 minutes for training. So very, very simple process when it comes to making the switch to BASYS. Now, outside of the investment when it comes to time, we've got 2 ways that we can approach pricing. So we do have custom pricing plans that are based off of the cards that you accept, your specific volume, and how you're processing. So in this redacted example, this is another AERA member. Their previous solution processing with QuickBooks on the left, BASYS is on the right. So in this example, pretty significant savings, over 20% in savings on a monthly basis here for this merchant. Outside of this, if someone is, let's say that you are buying and taking over a shop, or it's gone from being you and your buddy and your son working on heads in the garage to opening up a shop and really marketing yourself to the public, we can help there as well. For new to processing pricing, those prices vary between 1.39 and 2.38% on the high end for card present transactions, plus 20 cents per transaction. So we have very easy, very simple ways to help you get up and running, whether you are already processing credit cards with another vendor, or if this is something new for you, right? And in addition to this, if you were to bring on more folks and you've got more folks that need to be trained down the road, there's no additional cost for additional users or things along those lines. So just a quick high level look at the savings here, diving in real quick. We do a very good job at showing you down to the penny where all of your fees are coming from, as opposed to many processors lumping things together and ultimately overcharging. So moving forward, not the most fun topic for many people that are accepting credit cards, but it's a lot different at BASYS. So PCI compliance. What this means in layman's terms is that you are operating by the standards that are set by the card brands, and you are staying compliant. So if you rewind back about 4 or 5 years, and I know that I'm not talking to major corporation owners for the most part, most likely, but Target got sued for millions and millions of dollars for not being PCI compliant a few years ago. What we do at BASYS is we do your PCI compliance for you. It is a very big deal to be compliant. Yes, there are fees from your processor, but there can also be fines and penalties enforced by the card brands if you're not compliant. One of the things that I always say is you shouldn't shop your credit card processing like you do your insurance and just go for the lowest quote. Although we do typically find savings, at the end of the day, you've got to know that you can trust your processor. Your processor has your money before you do, and they're the ones that are making sure that you stay compliant. So in this instance, the way that we do the payment card industry compliance, it's a quarterly scan that we do on your behalf. And then once a year we call you, and it's a 2-minute phone call just to make sure nothing's changed. And we take care of all the back end compliance work for you on our end as well. So moving forward, there's a lot of different ways that we can enable you to accept credit cards. I won't go into all the X's and O's on all of these. What most people are probably the most familiar with are virtual terminals, meaning you're keying in the card information and potentially saving those cards on your computer with your processing system, or a point of sale, POS. So this can range all the way from a basic terminal that swipes cards all the way up to a full-blown point of sale system that tracks inventory. Outside of this, we also integrate with a lot of softwares. Would love to chat about that, but that's one of the major areas that BASYS has grown in here over the last handful of years as well. When it comes to equipment, we've got a lot of different options. So we can do the most basic of the basic, just simply a little black box. It's a swiper only that plugs into your computer, all the way up to tracking when you need to reorder different parts, right? When you need to, and we can have this set up where it will automatically prompt you to go out and reach out to your supplier so that you don't ever fall short on this. And again, all of these components, what they're ultimately doing is helping you fatten the bottom line, right? Helping you take money off from a hard cost perspective, from dollars going towards your processing fees, and then also soft dollar savings of taking the things off of your plate, such as PCI compliance, handling some of the IT side when it comes to these integrations, if we're processing that way, and also full support for all of our equipment going forward. So making sure that you know that you can be very good at what you do, and you can allow us to worry about what we're good at. Okay. So diving into, and I do want to take a little bit of time here on this slide before we open up for questions, but at the end of the day, I understand that credit card processing is probably not what you woke up this morning thinking about talking about, right? It's a necessary evil in a lot of ways. It is. It allows you to get your money paid faster, more securely. But again, you have to know who you're working with, and it really does need to be a trusted provider. A little bit about BASYS. So we've been family owned since we got started in 2002. Again, a lot of the members in the association, family-owned businesses as well. We understand what it's like to not just grow for the sake of growing, but for life and business to balance, for you to be able to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Us being family-owned, it's allowed us to have a different approach when it comes to serving our clients and serving our partners. Here at BASYS, we have no phone trees. You call into BASYS, the average phone call is answered within 3 rings. That's over 95% of calls are answered within 3 rings. 90+% of calls have a 1-call resolution. By not having phone trees and also not having offshore help, you're not going to have to worry about the fun game of telephone when you're pushing all these different buttons to try to get to someone that can help you, getting passed around from one part of the country to another. Our entire team is here out of our office in Kansas City. And what we've been able to do with this new approach is our client retention year over year is over 90%. And the average amount of time that a business processes with BASYS is over 10 years. And the reason I say all of this isn't just because it's a cool story, although it is, but it's to give you peace of mind to know that this could be the last switch that you make in your credit card processing. Moving forward, 80+ NPS, Net Promoter Score. So when we dive into Net Promoter Score, most people that I talk to on a daily basis aren't super familiar with it. What the Net Promoter Score is it's a sliding scale from -100 to 100. When we look at the competitors in the industry, it's not very good. The average score is in the low teens. There's actually over half a dozen of the big players that have a negative net promoter score. When you get into the 80s, which last month we were at 83 as our net promoter score, you're in the top 1% of not just credit card processors, but of all businesses in the country. And how the net promoter score is calculated is it's based on our clients recommending us to their colleagues, family, and friends. So again, very, very strong track record when it comes to that as well. I know I've already hit on the in-house customer support and our model there, transparent pricing. One thing that is very important when it comes to pricing is you need to be able to see or find out in real time what things look like with your funding, what things look like with your rates. At any point in time, if you need a rate review or you want to call in and say, hey, what does this look like? We're happy to take the time and slow down and actually have a conversation with you. Outside of that, we do have a long-standing relationship with the association. We actually do their processing for them. So if you're registering for this event in Indiana here coming up in December, you pay for that with credit card, or any event going forward, that's running through our rails. So you can know that we are not just trusted by members, but by the association themselves, for many of the reasons that I've discussed up to this point today. Currently today, processing for over 60 members that are actively working with BASYS. And at the end of the day, for us, we look to make that number grow, right? Which is why we are very actively involved with the association, going to shows, doing webinars like this, and being available for conversations with members. So as I mentioned at the outset, I did want to keep this high level. I wanted to save plenty of time for questions and also not give you information overload. And the reason that is because this entire process is very, very simple. From having interest to running transactions with BASYS, all in time invested between 30 and 45 minutes over the course of a couple of weeks. We take care of the heavy lifting, and we would love to get a chance to earn your business. So I do not have access to questions. I believe there's been a couple that have come in. I'm not sure, Amanda or Rob, if either of you want to help out with those questions.
You bet, Chris. Yep, I can help out with the questions. So a couple of questions for you. The first, and this question kind of came in when you were talking about being PCI compliant. But they're asking, is there an annual fee, and if so, how much?
Yeah, great question. So there is not an annual fee for PCI compliance. The way that we bill PCI compliance, we bill it monthly, and that's to support our team. We bill that out at $9.95 a month to take care of all of your compliance for you. So this does include quarterly scans. This also includes the annual assessment. So that fun survey that there is every single year that comes out with a lot of questions that probably seem like a foreign language to they do to me, at least when I got involved in the industry initially. But that is also, I will say this, Rob, as well as everything that we do from a pricing perspective, it's based on what makes the most sense from a business perspective. And what I mean by that is we've numerous times waived a PCI compliance fee if we're able to be profitable without that, right? So there are some circumstances where we could waive that fee as well.
Okay, perfect. Another question for you, Chris, is does it integrate with QuickBooks Enterprise?
So we do integrate with QuickBooks. The enterprise level of the solution, if that is ran on, as long as that is ran on the web version, the enterprise, we can integrate with that. We can also integrate with QuickBooks Desktop as well.
Okay, all right. So looking at now that you mentioned with our AERA members, how much time do you think it would take an average AERA member to get set up from start to finish with BASYS?
Yeah, so, and this is a good question, right? Because at the end of the day, we dictate our process based on what makes the most sense for the business owner. We understand that at the end of the day, you may have other irons in the fire that are more pressing. So for us, if I was to go through this in detail, I would say anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to get a statement. We'll go over those numbers together, a 5 to 10 minute phone call. From here, signing paperwork would be done on that phone call if things made sense. And then training is typically about 15 minutes. So anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes from a time investment perspective on your end. Now, this 30 to 45 minutes that is not one phone call. That is not one big long meeting that you have to attend. That's over the course of a couple weeks from proposing the numbers to all the way getting you trained and up and running.
Okay, no, that's really good, Chris. Because I know shops are busy, and that's the big thing right now is like everybody is months and months behind. So if this kind of thing doesn't take a whole lot of time, then it just makes perfect sense to get in touch with you and at least get a statement to you so you can review and have a look for sure.
Yeah, and that's one thing too that I'll add on to that, Rob, is when you really look at that 30 to 45 minutes over the course of a year, when you've got a lot of the shops that I've talked to over the last, I've been here for 3.5 years, Rob, and as you know, and a lot of the shops that I've talked to have mentioned to me that they spend 30 to 45 minutes just doing their PCI Compliance annual survey. So at the end of the day, although there is a small amount of time, it's almost always a net positive in the amount of time you get back as well.
No, good point, Chris, for sure. Another question for you is, can we pass along the fees to our customers with BASYS?
Yeah, that's actually really good, Rob. Glad someone asked that. So absolutely. At the end of the day, there's a big change in the economy over the last 4, 5, 6 years, especially in this industry. I would say almost 4 years ago when I came on board, probably 20 to 25% of merchants were passing along some sort of a fee. That number has grown exponentially over the last 3 to 4 years. So when it comes down to passing these fees along, you get to dictate the amount that you would like to pass on. You can pass it along at the full percentage that you're at. Let's say you want to pass along 3%, or if someone wanted to say, hey, we understand that there is going to be a cost associated and we're okay with paying for some of that, but we'd like to pass along a 1% convenience fee or a 1% admin fee on this. Absolutely. You can set that to any percentage that you would like. It makes the process very, very simple. And, ultimately, when it comes to passing along fees, if that's something that you would like to discuss, you can eliminate completely the cost of processing credit cards by passing those along to your customers.
Oh, that's good to know. So Chris, got one more question here for you. I know we want to respect everybody's time today as well as Chris's. We didn't want to do a really long webinar. We just wanted to make it, like Chris mentioned, really short, informative, and to the point. So Chris, there's a lot of our shops using shop management software, and does this program integrate with it?
That's a good question, Rob. Yes. So when you look at the landscape of the software world today and shop management equipment and software, there's a lot of moving pieces. Quick story to wrap things up today. The short answer is 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be yes. There are some proprietary softwares out there that just don't play ball. But what we've done here as an organization is about 3 years ago, we brought over one of the smartest guys I've ever met from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, who has grown our software and technology team from 3 people to 47 over the last 3 years. What we've done in the last 3 years is we've added close to 50 new softwares across verticals that we can integrate with. And what this can do for you is this can allow you to change your process zero. So what you do on a day-to-day basis does not change whatsoever. You're able to work with BASYS and save money on your processing. So absolutely. And if we're not working with it yet, I would be very surprised if we weren't able to in the next 6 to 12 months. But most of the time, that answer is yes, Rob.
Okay. No, super. Well, Chris, I want to thank you for your time. And again, all of our members that are using your program, we hear nothing but good things. They said the process to get set up was seamless, And the key thing is they're saving money, and that's the
Mhm.
whole. I mean, that's at the end of the day. I mean, credit card processing is one of those things where you just see the money leave, and you kind of wonder why. But again, I've heard nothing but good things about your program, and I want to thank you again for taking the time today. And also, good luck with your. You'd mentioned you're expecting, and your firstborn coming up here pretty
Yes.
soon. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
good luck with that. That's a pretty exciting time. So we wish you well with that for sure.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rob. We love working with the AERA from the top down and everyone on the team. If anyone has any questions following up outside of today, you can definitely reach out to Rob or Amanda or reach out to me directly. Chris.miller@basyspro.com is my email address, and my direct number is 913-951-3269. I appreciate the time, Rob and Amanda, and hope you all have a great rest of the week.
You too. Thank you, Chris. And what I'll do now is I'll go back to Amanda. We'll just wind things up here for you.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, you guys, we'll keep this quick for you. Thanks as always for your time. This webinar, like all our webinars, will be out on our YouTube channel. We've added a couple new playlists in 2024, including the Engine Professional podcast and our Engine Professional Insights. Webinars like this, the BASYS one, I think we have one on Phytron software, and some other good ones are under our business webinar section. So be sure to check that out when you go out to review this. And don't forget to also check out the technical webinars. There's a lot of great content in there. Lastly, I just want to thank everyone for your time. We know you guys are busy and it's not always easy taking time out of the shop to attend these. We appreciate you doing so. And when you leave today, there will be a survey that pops up. Take a moment, fill that out. Let us know how we're doing. If you have any questions for us, you can enter them there as well. There's also a spot for any follow-up questions you may have for Chris. And if you want to reach anyone on the AERA team, you can contact us at 815-526-7600. We're happy to help you with any questions you may have. If you got more questions on BASYS, it is something that Karen on our staff uses regularly, and I'm happy to connect you with her and she can answer some of your questions about just what an easy process it is. So thank you once again, and we hope you all have a great rest of your day.